What's up? What's up? I am Chakram'n, the creator. We are back once again. This is Pro-Human Anti-Conspiracy Tribe, and we are giving you your news update for the week. I know I haven't been on for about 4.5 days or so. Don't be discouraged. It was for no other reason than the fact that there is just so much information coming in. Usually the way it comes is it goes 1 or 2 days of trials of late, and then it'll kind of fall off, and you have a day where everybody's kind of recovering or preparing for legislation. Right now, that's not the case, and so the last 4 days have just been solid bangers. Boom, 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 boom. State after state legislative hearings in Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and all of them have had just a large bevy of information that have been presented to these courts. And so we're going to talk about those first and foremost. We're also going to talk about how the left is on the defense right now. They're playing straight zone defense. And because Aaron Rodgers is ripping them up for 400 yards, except Aaron Rodgers is Donald Trump. And so we are definitely going to talk about how they're on the defense and the way that they're poorly operating their defense. And then in addition to that, we're also going to talk about these CNN tapes on a little bit lighter note. We know what the news media is and who they are. And now James O'Keefe of Project Veritas has kind of confirmed that again for us by recording the powers that be, Jeff Zucker and his minions over at CNN on their private 9 a.m. calls. And so we'll get a couple of those rolling. It's going to be good stuff. But first, before I dive into it, if you don't know who I am, I'm Chakram'n, the creator. I designed this channel and really in order to get the word out, but not just get the word out, to give accurate information and give palatable ways to apply this information to your daily life. We're talking about love here. This is a lot bigger of a battle than just a battle between Republicans and Democrats, the left and the right. This is a battle between love and hate, good and evil. And so, to be able to put these things in perspective by not being intellectually lazy, that I think provides value. And from the feedback we've been getting and the feedback that I've been getting specifically, it's provided a lot of value, and people are really starting to vibe with these little sessions. So I'm glad. I thank you guys a lot. If you don't already follow me on Rumble at Chakram'n, Chakramn. If you follow me on Parler, that's at Chakram'n, Chakramn. So first things first, let's talk about these Senate hearings, right? So up until now, they had mostly been Republican Senate hearings. The news hasn't really been covering them. We're not shocked, but the Newsmax, OAN, these stations have been covering them around the clock, so we're able to get all the access. And for those really truly dedicated patriots, they've been able to really watch what's been going on and really see the wide range of different styles of evidence and different styles of highly credible witnesses that have been on the stands. And then today we got probably some of the most compelling video that has come out and surfaced during this whole campaign, or actually I say post-election campaign. And it's phenomenal. And so we're starting to get some discovery going on, and I'm going to roll a couple of videos. So this first one's going to be from one of probably my favorite that I saw. And this is probably, like I said, the most compelling. It's going to be out of Georgia's case today. A young lady who is a lawyer, but she was not testifying in the capacity of a lawyer. But Sidney Powell was arguing to be able to get these tapes back, and Lynn Wood was arguing to be able to get these video surveillance tapes that were inside of the election center where they were counting these votes at. It should be a simple ask. It should be a very easy ask, but for some reason everybody was fighting it. They finally released the tapes. They got them last night, or the night before they went on, and these tapes were about as blatant as you can see on any type of fraud charge. These tapes alone would be enough to do a widespread investigation into exactly what was going on there. And so these tapes are allegedly. It's really difficult to say allegedly, but it's for the fact checker. So these tapes are allegedly showing that they cleared out a room inside the voting center. They told everybody to go home, come back at 8:30. 4 people stayed behind. They pull out these barrels from underneath a black table, and they start scanning for the next few hours, somewhere to the estimated total of about 18,000 votes, which the margin, I believe, in Georgia is just over 10,000 votes. And so, you know, these things are coming out, and the fact that the media is not showing them is just, it's almost hilarious. But like I said, it's just what it is. So here's that video.
At about 8 o'clock in the morning, we're going to roll this back and show it to you. There you go. So now they're going to start pulling these ballots out from under this table. This table, the black one, was placed there by the lady with the blonde braids at about 8:22 a.m. in the morning. So she put that table there. So the same person who's staying behind now, the same person who cleared the place out under the pretense that we're going to stop counting, is the person who put the table there at 8:22 in the morning. Yeah, I saw 4 suitcases come out from underneath the table. Yeah, upper right hand, you see the gentleman in the red. So he just pulled one out. So what are these ballots doing there, separate from all the other ballots? And why are they only counting them whenever the place is cleared out with no witnesses? Is the question. So these machines can process about 3,000 ballots an hour. You have multiple machines there, and they're there for 2 hours. So you do the math. How many ballots went through those machines in those 2 hours when there was no one there to supervise, to be present, consistent with your statutes and rules, to supervise the tabulation? We believe that could easily be, and probably is certainly, beyond the margin of victory in this race.
Hands down, my favorite testimonies were definitely going to be the MIT 5-time degree owner, 30 years inside of the working for the military and private establishments, and security surveillance and integrity of elections and signatures and all types of things. Dr. Shiva. Second was definitely the former lieutenant general, describing the exact depth of how far the Kraken, which is the military operation that Trump put into play in order to surveil the hackers while they were hacking. That was also compelling too. But the video I wanted to show was this lady. She was super snappy, and this lady was actually a part of the was it Michigan Senate hearing, and she set up about 2 different senators that these Democrats just couldn't hold their stuff together. They were asking them not just questions and really intimidating witnesses right there as they were testifying. And this chick just wasn't having it. She's really sassy. So I'm going to show you a video where she snapped back and just said how credible she is. You know, you're not going to act like I'm not credible. I signed a affidavit under oath that says if I'm lying, I can go to jail. Did you? And he was like, damn, you know. So I found that very wildly entertaining. But here's this one.
My name is Melissa Carone. I am a resident of Wayne County. I have a background in IT and cybersecurity. I was contracted by PDS staffing to work with Dominion Voting Systems, assisting with IT at the TCF Center. What I witnessed at the TCF Center was complete fraud. The whole 27 hours I was there, there was batches of ballots being ran through the tabulating machines numerous times, being counted 8 to 10 times. I watched this with my own eyes. I was there to assist with IT. So when it occurred, and then it threw up the error, you know, discard, rescan, as I just stated, you are supposed to take the problem ballot that got jammed, put it on top of the whole pile, discard it, because that's why the option is there. If you do not discard it, it is recounting it. So they would take the ones that were, say ballot number 25 had an issue. You had already went through 24 ballots. So you're gonna put them back all in a pile and you're just gonna rescan it? So it's counting those 24 again, instead of discarding those 24 and restarting.
So, but that, I mean, that's what I was trying to ask. I mean, so they're literally taking, you're
Did I
saying.
answer correctly?
You're saying that they're taking ballots that already went through the machine, taking them and scanning them a second time.
That's absolutely what I said, yes.
So,
There was just one question, which was that, you know, if this were to happen, it would show up in the tabulations being off. And we know.
They were
Do we
off.
know to what extent that they're off?
They were off.
Right, yeah, we know that.
So why are you asking, what are you asking me?
I'm trying to ask you, if
Sir,
someone were to,
Go ahead.
if someone were to go and run the same ballot
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over again, that would end up showing up as a massive discrepancy, right?
Did
And
I
we've
say
added up the
somebody took a ballot
discrepancies.
and ran it over and over and over again?
you
Just
did,
one ballot? Or a batch of 50?
Either way, I mean, the batch of
Right.
50 is going to be even
If
more.
you take one and you run it over and over and over again, yeah, people are going to notice that that one has been ran over and over. I had numerous challengers come up to me and say, what's going on here? One guy got thrown out because he took a picture of me, because this is fraud.
Okay.
And there was fraudulent activity occurring there.
Thank you. Your testimony was excellent. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And I'm not going to show anything from the Nevada clip because it wasn't really eyewitness testimony, and so I don't really want to turn on a bunch of lawyers talking. But I will say that out of all the hearings in the last few days and all the rallies that have been outside these hearings, and just the hundreds and hundreds of people that came in to testify, and the thousands of affidavits that I've seen information on, all the video footage, I will say that I found the Nevada hearing that was actually the hearing that took place in front of the judge today. It was very interesting. And I say it was very interesting for the simple fact that, you know, the left is the party of lawyers. And so they had some of their most prominent lawyers. And this is just the funny part to me, is why would Joe Biden have his team, his best lawyers in the whole Democratic Party, there to try to stop the progress of voter integrity? Like, he should have no lawyers there and saying, hey, guys, look at this. Check it out. It's fine. As soon as they get over with this, the sooner I can get in office, right? And we have everybody's confidence. If I just give them that little bit of leeway and say, hey, you know what? Nothing happened. Check it all out. Give them access to whatever they want. I mean, that, in my opinion, is the only way to begin the unification process of a country. And whoever told them that this acting guilty as all get up strategy was working, it is not. With this judge in particular, what I really liked about him was that while other judges may have seemed dismissive or whatever, and really been going along with the Biden agenda and what they had to, in shutting down these different court trials and lawsuits, this judge was really, really interested. He had some great arguments from the defense, but the plaintiffs kept overcoming it and striking back, saying, hey, we have this data, we have 180,000 illegally cast votes that we have evidence of in the state of Nevada. And the judge was really interested. He didn't let any witnesses come up because of time constraints, and he wanted to get a good ruling out. And so he said, give me 15 of he wasn't going to do any witnesses, but he said, give me 15 of your dispositions and let me read those overnight, and then I'll rule tomorrow. But, to be going up against the quality of lawyers, I mean, these are the same lawyers that passed through the Steele dossier, the hoax Steele dossier that the Clintons ran through. And so to be standing up against those guys and have the judge take such a great interest, he was asking them about what the burden of proof should be and really asking a lot of good questions for as a judge that I have really had a lot of respect for, and I have confidence that he's gonna make the obvious choice tomorrow. Wisconsin is just berated today. They have the Supreme Court now that's taking action. Everybody wants to talk about how they wouldn't see the case, but they wouldn't see the case for a specific reason. And they put out a statement later in the afternoon that said something along the lines of, people seem to mistake or misunderstand what happens when we say we're not going to look at a case. For whatever reason that is. This one was because they needed to go through the lower circuit courts before they get to the Supreme Court that they just tried to file in. And he said, that doesn't necessarily mean that the case is full of fluff or that it's a bad case or that it's untrue. In fact, it's very far from the opposite, is what he said. And this is after reviewing all the case files. And so just to kind of set the pace, these judges in Wisconsin are very excited about the opportunity to view this race. So next key point here is that the Democrats are on the absolute defense right now. It's very hilarious how they can continue to act like none of this is taking place at all. And you get really caught up in the fact that you believe these reporters are just all-time crooked, and they're the ones actually on the front lines compromising their souls. However, it's now become very, very clear that everything that we know, meaning that all the direction and all the guidance for what they are to sell their souls for, the actual rhetoric, the narratives, they come from a centralized space. And James O'Keefe of Project Veritas, which is a whistleblower, independent journalism style of company with the Michigan, they're the guys that came out with the Michigan USPS worker that wore a recorder while they were trying to coerce him into signing a different affidavit. And so, these guys are getting pretty well known. Apparently, they've been recording Jeff Zucker, who's the president of CNN. They've been recording his morning 9 a.m. Team meetings for about 2 months now. And these are like, imagine a Zoom chat or a conference call that has everybody on it. And he's able to speak and narrate and say what he wants to have, what he doesn't want to have, how they're supposed to attack Trump, what stuff they want to cover, what stuff they don't. And all of these are correlated with their presumed election fraud attempts or election tampering or whatever you want to call it. They censor what they want to censor. They write a lot of lies. And I'm not saying that Fox News doesn't do that, because they do, especially the further left they are, because Fox News is dead. But that is not what you want to do when it comes to proper journalism. And the depth at what they do with that, I personally feel that they're a national security risk. And then with this James O'Keefe, with this James O'Keefe thing, man, he should be all-time legend. He is the Bernstein and whatever the other guy is from 74 when Nixon was impeached. They've done such great work at Project Veritas that now by putting out these 9 a.m. recordings for 2 months, and this it'll tie everything together. It'll show you exactly how they sell the narrative that America watches, and that they are able to protect these politicians, these Democratic politicians, and anybody they need to protect, or they're able to go in with all-out assault on a great president. It just gives you direct insight into how you're being manipulated if you watch those news stations, okay? And so most people that are going to be against the rhetoric that I'm kicking right now, they watch these news stations. And so this is a turnkey, and it's going to be difficult to watch or difficult to accept. You got to imagine that most left probably refuse to watch this stuff because they don't want to admit that they're being manipulated. But you can tell by the fabric of their story that it is created somewhere. It's not even almost next to anything real that would happen, and it's just kind of what it is. But it's leading to a place for, the potentiality for civil war is as close as it can get. Martial law being called to effect because of this coup against the president on all fronts is about as close as it can get. And so, we want to keep these things in mind. I'm going to play a couple of these videos for you. The first one is explaining about Mayor Giuliani, America's mayor, and look how they make him look. Look how they paint this rhetoric about Mayor Giuliani, who's probably one of the sternest American patriots that there is right now.
Here we have President of CNN, Jeff Zucker, describing how to cover in the news Rudy Giuliani and his legal team, describing this on the 9 a.m. editorial conference call. Play the tape.
There is a term for what Rudy Giuliani is suspected of being, which is useful idiot. And then on the Rudy Giuliani story, this is a really important story. It gets tied to the Hunter Biden email disinformation campaign. That's the way we do this because it's all tied and part and parcel of one. I know Washington is working on putting that all together. From America's mayor to useful idiot.
The real craziness is the client, not the lawyers.
Of course.
And I wonder if maybe we ought to be pointing that out at something rather specifically. This gets back to Mary Trump even. This is his pathology. We're back to a sociopath. I'm not saying we should use the word sociopath, as we say, but what others who have dealt with him, Mattis, all of them, coming away and saying this man is crazy. That's that's the real story in some way.
Right. Well, I think you raised a good point about not just pawning it off on the crazy legal team, but the client is the one who's directing that crazy legal team.
Damn right.
Check this out. Now, this next video, and that's disturbing, but this next video really kind of paints exactly the rhetoric that's on air right now when it comes to President Trump and how they are sowing his narrative as he's a crazy loon job that, is beating on the wall and whatever they need to say that goes along with their prescribed narrative and which goes along with their current narrative. They're just trying to buy this time until Biden gets in office, and it's painfully obvious, but nobody should be able to insult a president like this. But listen to what listen to how preordained these news stories are, and listen to the relationship between what they're saying right now in mainstream media and this happens right now.
Okay, I just want to reemphasize that, I think we cannot normalize what has happened here in the last week with Trump and his behavior. And I go back to what David Chalian said, that this is a president who knows he's losing, who knows he's in trouble, is sick, maybe is on the after effects of steroids or not, I don't know, but he is acting erratically and desperately, and we need to not normalize that.
Of a wide part of this country, and that part of the country that they are monitoring, this part of the country that they're manipulating, it's taken the softness out of their heart. It's turned the left into this ambiguous, far-reaching dictator, narcissistic type of group, and the people are good people, but there's some just crazy stuff being put out because they need to cover their own butts, and that's what we need to realize, is that they're covering their own butt. Everything is on the line for the Democrats, and right now they are on the defense for that specific reason. They're talking about repealing the social media companies' special protection in Section 230, so they can't afford to lose because they know Trump will do that. Okay, the media, if Trump stays in office, the media, this fake news media, is done for. Like, they are done. They've sold all their cards. And then you have Joe Biden. If he doesn't get in office, his family goes down. You have this investigation now that they've been on. Today they had Senate hearings, and they just released 400 pages of the fake impeachment hoax. 400 pages. Inside of it, they have emails coming from Hillary going to Barack's chief of staff saying that don't worry, Hillary has a plan. She's going to incriminate Don by coming up with the fake dossier or coming up with the dossier hoax that said he was dealing in Russian collusion. These are some deeply, deeply disturbing things that they've released now, and the disclosure is going to keep happening. And I've said this for last week. The next stuff to come out over the next couple of weeks, it's all timed, it's all planned. And Don knows when he's coming out with it. If you see somebody that you thought was a Donald Trump guy go against Donald Trump, it's usually because they're trying to sell their own narrative now, because they realize they can play with the media by giving them information here, here, and here. Okay. They already have all the information they need. They're not going to put out any of their top brass evidence until they're in court. And so, you know, the Nevada trial today, they just came out with a different video that they hadn't had in the briefing, and the defense was like, oh my gosh, and they came out with some hardcore stuff. That's what the plan is. They ran a bunch of smaller elections smaller lawsuits in order to find out what it was that the courts wanted to see, what they didn't want to see, how they're going to react to what how many affidavits they need to have, and now they put together so many of these now that they can put them inside of the right case, and the right case is going to be taking down everything. So we're looking good in Pennsylvania. We're looking great in Michigan. We're looking great in Pennsylvania. We're looking really good in Georgia after that video that came out today. And I think they're the aggressive enough legislative body to do so. But the Dems are just, they're on the defense right now. They're about to sell out Nancy Pelosi, which they should. And there's just not a lot going good for them. You know, they didn't have a good election down ballot. And, you know, now Trump's getting momentum. It's going to be hard to keep a bottle cap on it much longer. You got to imagine. So that was pretty wild, man. Pretty wild, for sure, to say the least. And so I'm going to say, man, that, I'm going to be back on pretty regularly now. I do realize it's a responsibility, and as I'm getting more feedback and people actually caring, where you at? What's going on with the election? I'm getting phone calls and texts and messages, and keep them coming, man. Once again, give me a shout and follow me at. I'm your boy, Chakram'n the Creator. Tomorrow's actually a pretty light day. And so the day after that, we're going to be having legislature, but look out for the decision out of Arizona and look out for a video coming from me. I'm probably going to be broadcasting live while these things are going on because I'm really trying to start to diversify my channel. Probably going to be doing the website with a little bit of writing as well, too. So just give me a shout, man. And if you like this video, like it, share it. It's our duty as patriots. This is our time. If we don't do this as digital warriors, then nobody's going to do this. And so this is for the fate of our country. If you're not going to get out and do something in terms of activist work, then at least support the activists. Give this a like, give this a share. And I love you guys. See you soon.